In 2010, a group of friends, including Mark, Sarah, John, and Ellen, went on an expedition to the Swiss Alps. The goal was to enjoy an outdoor holiday, far from the pressures of daily life. None of them expected this place to turn into a living nightmare. While hiking, they decided to follow an ancient trail rumored to date back to the medieval era, where people were said to have mysteriously disappeared. The path was narrow and surrounded by dense trees, but they pressed on, enjoying the tranquil atmosphere. After 2 hours of walking, the weather suddenly darkened. Though it was midday, an eerie coldness filled the air. They decided to continue but felt something was off. Mark began to sense that they were being watched. Sarah, walking behind him, suddenly stopped and whispered, "Do you hear that?" It was a faint sound, almost like whispers coming from deep within the forest. The group grew uneasy and decided to turn back to the main trail, but they soon realized they were completely lost. The trees around them grew denser, as if trapping them. At one point, John looked up and said, "Do you notice how the clouds are moving strangely?" Ellen, usually the calmest among them, started to feel that something unnatural was happening. Just then, they heard an eerie noise, like footsteps behind them. When they turned, no one was there, but the sound persisted, drawing closer. The darkness deepened, and visibility became worse. They tried to use their phones, but there was no signal. Mark, the leader of the group, decided to push forward, but his heart pounded as he noticed something strange. The trail they were following seemed endless, looping them back to the same point. Nerves began to fray as each of them started hearing incomprehensible sounds, like the forest itself was breathing. Suddenly, something happened that made them scream. Shadowy figures appeared between the trees, and the footsteps behind them turned into a chase. John felt something touch his arm, and when he looked, there was nothing there, but fear filled his eyes. As the tension escalated, a loud, haunting sound echoed through the forest, like ancient screams from centuries past. They decided to run, but it became clear they were surrounded. In a desperate moment, they stumbled upon an old, decrepit cabin. Hoping for refuge, they cautiously entered. Inside, they found a room filled with ash and decay. In the corner lay a very old book. When they opened it, they found strange drawings depicting ancient rituals. The moment one of them touched the book, they felt an unexplainable force creeping into their body. Suddenly, the sounds returned, now louder and clearer. They felt unnatural movements around them, as if they had become part of a dark, inescapable world. In that moment, time seemed to stop, trapping them in the heart of a living nightmare.